It's hugely important. Last week was a disappointing result, but only really got ourselves to blame. But top six is very much within our grasp, as it is probably two or three teams, to be honest. So it's important that we go out on Saturday and we try and pick up 3 points, but I'm looking for the performance more than the result. I'm a big believer results come on the back of performances, so I'm looking for a reaction from the players. Aye, they're decent. Stuart's done a great job since he's went in, so I think they've got a real potent goal threat up front in Kevin Van Veen. I think he's one of the best strikers in the league, if I'm honest. I really like him. I've liked him from day one, since the moment he went into Motherwell. He seems to have hit a bit of form, so a big part of the game is going to be stopping their main threat, which is Kevin. They have got other goal scorers in other areas of the park, but Kevin, I think he's sitting on something like 19-20 goals this season, so it shows you how important he is to Motherwell. Yeah, it's not just about Kevin, but we've been working hard all week. We need to stop giving away stupid goals in the final third, in terms of you're going to give goals away, but it's the manner of the goals we lost last week which was disappointing. You always give yourself a mountain to climb. 2 penalties, 2 free shots for 12 yards, so to speak, so give ourselves a mountain to climb. So it's just ironing out these silly mistakes that we've made of late, and looking after Kevin Van Veen. But there's other players within the Motherwell team, to be honest. Mandra, no Beaker, I don't know if Beaker's going to play. Spittle does a good job up there as well. You look at Goss's free kick, so they carry a goal threat from different areas of the park, not just but Kevin, albeit Kevin's the most potent one at this point in time. I think I'd said that about maybe 6-7 weeks ago, something along the lines. Just came back for the winter break, something along the lines. I think it's going to be up and downs. I don't think it's going to be plain sailing. I think it's going to be into the last game, match day 33. But again, you look at the positives. I think that's a huge positive in how competitive the Premier League is this year. So you're probably top 6, bar the top 2 at this point in time. Everybody else is fighting for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and then there's a relegation battle going on at the bottom half of the league. So I think I'm looking forward to the split. Hopefully we can get enough in my locker to try and get us into the top 6. But again, I'm sitting here talking about this going into match day 31. I think it's testament to the players and the staff at the club. That's us consistently been fighting for top 6 ever since the first year in the Premier League. This is our 5th year in the Premier League. First year we finished 9th. Then the previous 3 were 5, 6 and 7. Last year we were fighting right up until match day 33 to get in the top 6. This year I'd imagine is going to be very, very similar to last season, in terms of we're fighting to be in the top 6 on match day 33. We've completed the most important objective from a squad point of view and a staff point of view, staying in the Premier League this year. That's always the primary objective, stay in the Premier League. The boys have went out and done that, I think just about safe. I'd probably say we are safe this year. So we've completed that objective. Now we need to try and kick on and get in the top 6. But for me, a club our size, it just tells you everything about the players and staff at the club. They deserve huge credit for where we are in the season, huge credit for what we've done from the days of League One and the Championship season. But we'll give it every ounce of effort we've got to try and get into the top 6. But again, Kerry, there's 3 or 4 teams all trying to do the same thing. So you've got no divine right to get the top 6. You need to go out there, you need to perform. And if we don't make it, it'll not be through effort or application. No, nothing at all. It's fairly quiet. I've been plodding away in the background. Spoke to a couple of players this week. Just pretty slow at this point in time. Again, so there's not really a lot happening. Spoke to a couple of clubs about that are maybe looking at a few of my players. Spoke to a couple of players that I'm looking to try and bring in, but nothing really of any substance to share. I think it's felt that since we've came back from the winter break, the next game has become the most important game. So I try not to look at it in the next 3 games. I try and look at the next game, which has got huge significance and huge importance to us as a football club, as did last Saturday. So I try to manage on a game-by-game basis, opposed to looking at too far ahead. Hopefully, definitely drives me on. But again, to get to where we are in the league, it's been driving us on for match day 1. So it's always been the objective. We set 3 objectives this year. 1, stay in the Premier League, finish 10th. 2, try and get the top 6, and number 3, if you can get into the top 6, can you push for European football? So we've achieved the primary objective this year, but that was for match day 1. You have to do this right through. You split the season up slightly into match day 33, then in match day 34 you re-evaluate, adapt, and you reassess and review that to see where you are. So I wouldn't say last year's failure at the last minute to get into the top 6 is still energy or fuel that we use at this point in time. So it was probably during pre-season we were gutted to miss out on it, and that was one of the objectives we set this year early doors in the campaign, was to try and get top 6. It'd be antagonising, but again we'd only have ourselves to blame. You've got no divine right to finish in the top 6, and I take huge responsibility for that. I sit here as a manager when we're on a winning streak and in the top 6, and I take all the credit, so I'm more than capable of taking my share of responsibility for that also. It's difficult, games have changed, the dynamics within games are changing, going into the last maybe 6, 7, 8 games of the season. The style of play is changing from most teams out with the old firm. It's became a wee bit more risk averse, which makes it a wee bit more difficult to score, which then makes it a wee bit, teams are putting a wee bit more pressure on you. It's became a wee bit more direct because the footballs came a wee bit more risk averse. The teams trying to secure Premiership football are pushing on for top 6. So we are where we are, and we look at Saturday. It's an opportunity to go to a very informed Motherwell team who are doing very well since Stuart went in there. It's an opportunity for us to go and pick 3 points up, and that's what we'll be going there to do. I'll be honest, I've not really looked too far ahead in that one in terms of what's below us. I don't know. Motherwell were to win on Saturday, have they got an outside chance? I don't know how the league's sitting there, but probably, you asked me 2-3 games ago, I'd have probably said ourselves in St Mirren, we're trying to get 6th place, so you're 1 place for 2. I think now you're 2 places from 3 in terms of St Mirren, Hibs and Livingston, but I don't know where Motherwell in that equation, because Stuart's went and picked some points up, so they'll not be a million miles away, I wouldn't imagine. No, nothing, fairly good place. Sean Kelly's steadily making improvements, but it's slow but steady every day. Tom Parks is back training on Thursday and Friday, trying to manage his workload, so there's not really a lot to report in terms of the squad that's changed from last week.